This is day 1155 of the Arukh HaShulchan. If you'd like to sponsor Arukh HaShulchan, please call me directly. Very greatly appreciate it. And today we are starting a new section of your Adar. Hilchos Macholi Akum. Siman Kufyu Beis. And today we're supposed to do Sif how to test. Chachamim goes to Arba Dvarim Lachikas Tatzmei Avdei Kochad Mazolos Shlo Aminu Borei Olam. Chachamim decided to distance us in four ways from the idolaters who do not believe in the Creator. It's a little bit of censorship there, I think. It's to distance us from all non-Jews in the past, because most of them were non-believers in Hashem. Who knows? Shlochot Pashalem not to eat their bread. Shlochot B'Shulam not to eat their cooking. Afshem Bashin double kosher, even if they cook something kosher. Also milk, which they milk from a kosher animal, when a Jew does not stand over them. The same, also their cheese. The latter two, milk and cheese, also mamish. They also, I think also he means. In other words, what he said before is a chiddush, because the Gemara itself links him specifically to the chashash iser. But I think it's correct that the main reason is for laharchik. And there's an additional reason in the latter two because of chashash iser. Moshe's barba as we shall see. But the first two, the bread and the cooking, are not us because of chashash iser. The charkis us made him, but at the distance us from them. These things bring us to proximity of interaction. I know it's a bad term, but das. Kibbutz means to kindred spirits. You got the idea. And we might come to intermarry with them. All these things are also only to eat, not to derive pleasure from, or benefit from. Maybe ask, mamish. Wait a minute, in what they cook, there's an actual isser. Because of their vessels, which they constantly use to cook trafis. Also in their bread. If they need it with hot water, they are heating it up in their own vessels. What I'm saying is the cloud says no, there's no real true isser in that. The Stan Kelim Shem and we assume most of their kelim are by default the past 24 hours of their previous use. The Peskim, all the Peskim passing away, the Stan Kelim Shalakum, with generic assumption, the default assumption of vessels of non-Jews, and that they haven't used in the last 24 hours. They don't cook as often as we do. As many people have said, we have a Thanksgiving dinner every Shabbos twice, and they have a Thanksgiving dinner once a year. So, a little bit of perspective. All these things also once it's cooked here too, once it's baked or cooked, it's already stated with the Evan. Even the Rambam does not seem to hold of this halacha that stam kelim are not b'nei yomim. He says, in brackets, because the Mishnah Sham of Lacha Yud Ches Ayin Sham. Since the Rambam doesn't know this way, nevertheless, there's a difference. That even if under the Gzeir of Pishul Akum and Pasakum, we even know that the kelim are utterly and completely new, brand new. Nevertheless, you're not allowed to eat their cooking or their baking. Especially water that they heat up for the bread. The Chachamim also came, they heat up in those vessels, the kiyim, which are clean. They're very, I think it's about cleanness, nevertheless, it's also. But the decree against bread was not completely accepted, even when they decreed it at the time. Used to be Yushami, it says in Yushami, the past, in several places, the past of Hilchos Amumos, halachas which are dark. Imamuel said, the Yushami explains, Amumos means they were dubious about it. And they allowed it. It also is clear in the Bavli. As my Domar Paslu basin, the bread was never permitted by a basin. Michlati command Shari. Seems that there is someone who was matir, even though it wasn't a basin. Herach b'zayin sham. There's long discussion there. Mishum takonas only spatcham chayso. This takana did not spread completely throughout Am Yisrael. There are Beimakomos aim palter Yisrael motzah in many places no Jewish baker. There's the Shum Chay Nevesh, and there is basic life sustaining involved. Therefore, they could not sustain a complete outright ban. Nevertheless, they're not completely nullified this decree. They put a lot of leniencies into it. As we shall see. Rambam says, Apish Asu Pas shall over the Kochavim. I forgot. I don't think I read at the beginning of the Simon that this whole Simon is a din pashal over the Kochavim, like a bread of Vodazar. But in any event, it's quite obvious. Even though they forbade the bread of non-Jews, the place where they need about this, they take baker's bread. There's no Jewish baker. We saw that out in the field. Because they're under duress. But bread baked in private homes, nobody is lenient. The main decree was against intermarriage. You eat the bread which they bake at home. So you're going to come to eat by them. Some explain that what he means is you need two things in order to be made lenient. One, the lake of Dachtim, so there's no Jewish baker. Two, you're on the road. After the lake of Dachtim Yisrael, in the city, even though there's no non-Jewish baker, it's awesome. It's Kesed Mishnah, Lechem Mishnah. Pasha Ba'abatim, and the bread of the private bread. Afilu B'Sada, also that's also even in the field. It's the Beis Yosef. No make it pass Ba'abais. It's only called the bread of Ba'abais. Eli Masod Nebei, so he made it for the members of his household. Avsolim Kor, but he made it to sell. Mikre Palter, it's called baker's bread. Api Shein Dargo B'Kachim, though he normally doesn't sell. Conversely, a baker made bread for his personal use. It's called bread of the Baal Bais. She's in the beso, and if a baker invites you to his house, the bread he has at home is like the bread of the Baal Bais. Awesome. Hey, Vieshli tomorrow, our Rabbi Beis Yosef, we should be astonished at the Beis Yosef because of his base. He wants to see base. Over the base. We're lenient about this. Looking past the Nachtom Akon, take bread from a non-Jewish baker. Magum change from Nachtom. We saw places there's no Jewish baker. They because they're extenuating circumstances. So under the rest, I will pass about the Amish Balaka. But the bread of a private bread, nobody is lenient. Akon Shona. End quote. Since he copied language of Rambam, so there, why do you leave out that it has to be out in the field? It seems quite clear when he says that he's matir even in the city. That's the fact what to most Eskimo. You shouldn't say that in this Paskin not like the Rambam. Nevertheless, you should bring his opinion. I'll upon him in any at the very least, like he always does. The Rambam. So it seems that even though he explained that that's the opinion of the Rambam, as would seem from the simple flow of its meaning, of his word language, nevertheless, here he changed his mind. Because it's really astonishing svara. The Maya said, so what are you going to do in a city where there's no Jewish baker? Can't say he should bake for himself. Everybody has preparations, has the ingredients, or has expertise to make bread. That's what the Gemara there. Mevar Chilkman son of the year does include a difference between in the hinterlands and in the city. Yes, I can say the Zel Makom Sheish Beer Balti Yisrael. It's in the city. There's a Jewish baker. I was saying Balti Yisrael, but there's no Jewish baker. Even in the city, Mutar Gam Beir. It's Mutar even in the city. Brad says here, Chabasham Gam Rabbi Yochanan Lepoich Leva Lefana of Kai Duk. Yochanan argues, doesn't argue on Rabbi Chaba. Yes, Vash give you a Rama Dachik Mar. So we explain the Rama like this: the Lokim pass on Nachton. We take baker's bread. Mokom Shein Shem Nachton. So there's no Jewish baker. Uvesadeh Klomar in the field meaning. So then mutar al sheish after we saw here it's mutar even when there's a Jewish baker in the city in the proximity. So Rabbanan pashu ikar chiyus the Rabbanan not the rabbis did not compel you to go to the city to get the bread, which is the primary staff of life. So the bracket of materials kusha samagia berches mishasham. However, whatever this means, whatever the magia asks is resolved by this. Zayin v'zelush on Torah. This is language of the Torah. That's how Yovi Rosh Zal, according to my father, the Rosh. Ein chiluk ben pasha ba'abatim le'pasha shabalta. There's no difference between the bread of a private individual and the bread of a baker. Avaksas mi'achabrim, but some of the authors chilku ben shal ba'abayis shabalta. They do a distinction between the two. Lo shach chasdus, and that the concern intermarriage is not relevant. El b'shal ba'abatim, except in the bread made by private individuals. Therefore, they ask you, no matter what, unless it's a place of danger. But the baker's bread ain't is not such close generation of kindred spirits. The Shemanusa is like he's involved in his business. It's not a personal thing. The Yerushalmi also distinguishes Shemati liknosi palto. He allows you to bake for a baker, but mokom she'ain palto you saw motzi where there is no Jewish baker around. Tamara ben Abbas Yisrael Torah. He says it's time to Torah Sharosh and Mechalik, who says the Rosh and Torah says distinction. Yes, Palter, and also it's astonishing on the Torah that wrote that Yerushalmi says you're allowed to buy from a baker. It sounds like in Argamar it's not mentioned. He's Kiru Palter and Meforish. Also in Argamar, the Bavli mentioned Palter explicitly. Ayin Sham. Bracket says Rabbi Cheba Amar Filu Mandamar Palter. Aku Mani Mila Leka Palter. So Chulei V'chein Rabbi Yochanan and Shem, they distinguish between the different bakers. Chesed Be'emes Dibei HaTorah Tzolkin. Arukh HaShulchan says no, the Torah is right. The Gam Rabbi Sei Bali Tesh Kos V'Sham, and also our rabbis, the masters of the Tosas, who wrote there. And from here we rely on eating bread, etc. Didn't distinguish at all between bakers and private individuals. It's quite clear. The Gemara brings a brisa chanushal akum b'chulei, a store of non-Jews. Chametz shenim tzasham achar Pesach. Chametz is found after Pesach. Mutar b'achil, you're allowed to eat b'chulei. Chain shama mishnah the chametz shel akum shavar about Pesach. Also in the mishnah of chametz of a non-Jew that Pesach passed over it. Mutar b'achil, you're allowed to benefit from. Isa Gemara sham. And the Gemara says, "V'dinu the boil l'misnei tafil achil namishari." Really should say that it's not just mutar b'hano; it's mutar also to eat. Ela b'chulei. Chem b'Yushalmi also Yushalmi omer mastis, and the Mishnah says, "B'makom shelon ragu pasha chulei ve'via rosh ayin sham v'lo chilka." The Yushalmi also distinguish bein palta ba'bayis between the baker and the private individual. The gam be'isha goes to the pasal chilka cloud. Also, at the time they made the decree on bread, they didn't distinguish at all. Because the Mishnah, like it's indicated by the Mishnah. Shamu pastama. They said bread without the distinction. Chem perakam to Shabbos. Also, whereas Shabbos you exed yudches davar with the 18 zeros made by Beis Shammai. They said Shema says that she goes up piton. They declared against. They decreed against the bread. They didn't show distinctions. Also here, the Rabbi Yochanan passed for Hutra Beistin says the bread was not permitted in Beistin. Mikladi command Destroy, which is reduced to somebody who was matir. Yes, the Chiasa of Dimi, Chulev Leiska Cloud Shum Chiluk Balta Babais. No distinction drawn. Rakachakach on the average Omer Pam Achasok Levi Lamokom Echad. Maybe once one place the Rav passed the committee, so the bread was short for the students. Amar Rebbe said, "Ain't got palter. Is there no baker here?" And the people thought he meant a non-Jewish baker. So he meant a Jewish baker. Even according to opinion, it says it's about a non-Jewish baker. So it's only there is no Jewish baker. And when Rebbe said, "Is there no palter here?" He didn't mean specifically a baker, not a Baal Bayis. The king derech b'nei adam. That's a normal derech. Shenitzrach liknos pas when you have to buy bread. We say ulayish kam palter liknos manna. Maybe there's a baker to buy from him. Baal Bayis said a pito. Baal Bayis doesn't only sell his bread. Is that true evidence for this? Before it says that people made a mistake. Rebbe the Rebbe was always about a Jewish baker. Rebbe saw Vade, they ain't chiluk. Now, by a Jew, there's no distinction. Why does it say palter? They're always talking about a Jewish palter. El mishum dechei derech oilam. That's derech oilam. They go to a palter, not because I loch in nafkamina, because it's a normal derech. Being kind if that's the case, Gam Rabbi Chelbo, Shiskin Lamanda Martlo Tob is that. So that's the case, Rabbi Chelbo agreed that they didn't make a mistake about this. The Kavanah's Rebbe, said Palta Akum, Rebbe in fact meant a non-Jewish baker. Gankin Labadavko. Labadavko could be non-Jewish. Babas also. And the brackets he says, when a Kaimah Rabbi Chelbo Lo Toam, people did not make a mistake. Rebbe meant both, meant Palta Akum, which would include also non-Jewish Babatim. Ayin Ran. Test. From all this evidence, but Berurus, it's clear, from all this clear proofs. The Shasti Lord ain't been Palto Babais, our Shasti not distinguished between a baker and a Babais, that came places for lunch, for Gab Stam, the Usham, since always below this way, Elabakan, the Ushami, Deachasus Veres Kane. The Yerushalmi here, there's only one opinion holds that way. Paschal Rifa Rambam Kideyazu, and Rambam Rif Paskin like that opinion, which is that there is a difference between Palter and Balbais. Russia Tik Divrei Arif B'Zako, the Rush copies Rif for verbatim. Hakosam, and then it says Mikamar Tamuna Miklad Ikod Man Dishari. From that Gemara said there is from that in the language of the Shas, it's always that there's somebody who's matirit. משהו שידוע להם שיש כל מה שנוגעים בהתר. It seems that to indicate that they were places where they knew they were lenient about Pasakum. I said some Gdolim Shlosulim now some Iminosan Shnogam Boheter. And that account the Gdolim did not answer for the countries which were lenient. When they came in these places where they said the Issa was not widespread, evidently they were matter of them. Hey, Mefush! It's clear. Shabbat Rosh Papa Dash Shas when the Rosh coming to discuss our Shas. Lo is Kirshum Hefresh from Palto Babais doesn't mention the distinction between Palto and Babais. That's what he says afterwards. The Rov and Klemen's going to the same in most of our places. Ain't Palta Yisrael Motzli. You'll find Jewish bakers. That comes show. Kavanasa Ganki also means ain't immediate clothes. You don't have room to buy. The Palta Yisrael ain't lanu. We don't have a Jewish baker. Babais and Jewish Babati don't normally sell. That's why it is the sustaining of life. Repeating that from the bread. Gankin bein nefesh is no distinction. If you find isolated places where there's no baker and the Jew eats from the pasba abatim of the non-Jews, you can't rebuke them. And it says that brackets can't say Shama there. You don't have to be Pul Charifta. Also says that. Miuvadi on a Kamladina Karifa around Shulchan Aruch. Bummer. Nice we hold that the Ram Shulchan Aruch that Paspa about it was also. Teratza Ramazim Pasakain to himself Paskan wave. I am Sif Yud Aleph. Evidently we'll come back to it when we get to Yud Aleph.